Simon had said, I am ready. Are you ready on time?
But I think my voice cannot be heard.
Okay, welcome. You can start. Simon,
All right. Okay.
welcome.
In the first place, I would really like to appreciate and welcome all of you guys to my presentation. And I'm really so happy to have you, all of you on board. My name is Santo Amude Simon, a graduate from Canadian Technical University Department of Forest and Industrial Engineering, together in collaboration with Professor Dr. Hussein Koch from the University of Jarrah Pasha Department of Forest Industrial Engineering. We managed to sit and we came up with a research about to analyze the forest sector of South Sudan and Turkey. The aim of our research is basically to analyze the forest sector in South Sudan and the associated challenges, and then some of the potential opportunities in the case of South Sudan, and then the role that the Turkish forest sector can play in developing the forest industry in South Sudan. Before we go further, I would like to start with the introduction of the forestry in South Sudan. South Sudan is actually a green land well endorsed with forests, with natural and woodland. Out of its total land, the forest area covered there is about 30%. That's like 191,667 kilometers square. And then among the most valuable tree species that's found in South Sudan, teak, which is known to mankind as the most valuable tree species in the world, makes up about 2 to 3% of the overall forest area in South Sudan. And then if you come to the forest types of South Sudan, we have like the natural types of forest, and then we have the plantation. In the natural type of the forest in South Sudan, the natural forest is mainly characterized by the mixture of Congolese forests. It's basically because South Sudan is close to Congo, and we all know that Congo is a tropical country, and it has the tropical to there. And in the plantation forest is basically the single non-indigenous species of teak, which is actually imported from a foreign country planted in South Sudan. And the teak in South Sudan makes up about 30,250 hectares. South Sudan teak is like the second teak only to the Bemas type of teak. And then the other species we got in the plantation forest, we have the Cedrea tona, the Sarsia sema, and the Eucalyptus. And as we see in the list here, we are seeing the commercial wood species in South Sudan. Species like plantation teak, African blackwood, mahogany. Then we have the Etadrophic, exists in central Equatoria, in western Equatoria state. Then we have the Isoberlina, Doca, and the associated species. We have species like bamboo and azobi, which is mostly used in Turkey here. And then there are other types which are not really known to the European or to the American countries, species like African walnut, and then there are species like neem trees, and then the tamarind. And there we start our case here. As we see from the South Sudan top export, according to 2018 data, we see like mineral and fuel tops up the list up to like 95.6%. And as we move to the bottom of the list, we see wood is like the second to the bottom, which is like just 0.01%, yearly revenue of 139,000 only. And they're saying that like wood is actually the leading declare among South Sudan's top 10 export categories, as it's about -64%. And as we check on the companies operating in South Sudan forestry sector, we see like there are not many companies. There's only one company, which is the Equatoria Teak Company. It's a forestry group based in South Sudan. It owns about 1,700 hectares of teak. And it is said that the Equatorian Teak Company is the only company in Africa to obtain the certificate of the Forest Stewardship Council, which is to say that as the company produces teak in the country, it can be exported to almost all the countries in the world. And then the company plans and sustainable harvest teak tunnels, which is, we know, like the highest quality plantation teak outside Myanmar. And as we see in this table, we try to summarize the general parameters of like the difference between Turkish and like South Sudan forest. As you see from the forest here, how much forest is available in Turkey and in South Sudan. And then the important tree species available in Turkey, like the hardwoods, as like oak, and we have the beech and hornbeams and chestnut, which are the species we don't have in South Sudan. And then we have species like in the softwood species, we have the pine, spruce, and cedars and fir, which are the species only available in the European and the American countries, rarely to found in most of the African countries. So like in South Sudan, we have the Tictanus grandis and then black African wood, mahogany, bamboo, and the African walnut. These are the trees which are in a dire need in Turkey and also part of the European countries. Here we see it as a great opportunity for the two countries to start what the kind of a business cooperation between the two countries in forest sector. Then in exportation, we see like Turkey, of course, as is well known in the world, exports a lot of forest products. And then South Sudan is trying to, but it cannot, of course, make up the way Turkey does. Then if we see in the importation, Turkish importation of the forest product gradually decreases as years pass by. And for South Sudan, it's a kind of in the edge of increasing due to less production and high demand. Then in the forest industry, we see like Turkish forest industry is like well developed with many skill management engineers and laborers as well. But for South Sudan, it's so unfortunate that there are no skill management and engineers as well.
Can you summarize?
And then I'm coming to that one. And if you see to the logistic and the transportation, Turkish infrastructure, road and everything is really developed, and for South Sudan is still underdeveloped. And from port, if you see like how the two countries can start kind of a transportation of goods from one country to the other, you see like it takes 8 days to transport goods from Turkey to South Sudan. Then we come forward to the challenges of why South Sudan doesn't actually develop in the forest sector. We have three huge challenges which is facing the sector, like lack of legal regulation, lack of technical and management, and then the lack of infrastructure. And it's saying that the lack of a legal framework serves as an incentive for illegal logging and extraction only oriented investors. Without a proper legal framework to support ownership and management rights, long-term sustainability in the sector would be so much rare. Then if you see at the results here, the results saying that providing a legal framework that formalizes clear rights, responsibility, and benefit sharing mechanism, which would be a key to not only avoiding conflict, but also attracting investor confidence in the sector. In turn, investment in the sector could have a sustainabilizing impact, as it has been demonstrated. Then in conclusion, we are saying that the forest state of South Sudan represents a key national asset for generating significant source of revenue for a developing country. As such, its proper management, which is one of the most challenging issue in the sector, is essential for promoting economic development. However, the above mentioned challenges need to be addressed. Without doing so, investors' confidence in the sector will remain low, and South Sudan will remain miss out on the benefits of a healthy forestry sector. Additionally, in order for the sector to flourish, there's a distinct need for investment in the infrastructure to support the industry, including roads, electricity, and institutional and technical capacity building. And then if we reach to the recommendation, which is I'm about to end actually, we all know that Turkish forest industry is actually the fastest growing sector in the country, especially in the production of MDF particle boards and panels, which are used in in furniture production. And this one has made Turkey really to enter into the list of the world top most furniture producers and suppliers. And Turkey also has the potential with the new technology and ideas to produce more and flourish in the company. So with more needs and more production, it's definite that there's also more need of raw materials. So this is observed to be like a huge opportunity for business cooperation between South Sudan and Turkey. However, in order for this business cooperation to be implemented, technical, economy, and trade areas need to be developed quickly. So like the opportunities we have currently in the sectors, like Turkish forest companies can start investment in South Sudan forestry in order to satisfy their raw materials needs, that's like the tropical species. And then they can open branches in South Sudan to expand their market and fulfill South Sudan's and neighboring countries' furniture demand. And they can also start production in South Sudan, cheap raw materials, easy to supply to the near market and low transport and labor costs as well.
Okay.
Thank you so much for the amazing presentation. I'm really so glad, and I would like to take this moment
to
just
Simon. Thank you for nice presentations. And is there any questions? Please write the chat box.